Hello everyone, it's AussieJTV here, back with some more Ancient Legacy of Azul. And after a fairly mediocre run yesterday, we at least got some great new unlocks, with both the Pathfinder and the Marauder character classes to play next. Now all that's left is this mysterious gunslinger of some sort. It seems to be like an arquebus or some other style of weapon that we have left to unlock, and that's by defeating the final boss, who we saw 2 days ago. So I think I said at the end of last episode, I am going to try out the Pathfinder. I did do one run off camera with them just to learn a bit about how they gel. I did a lot better than when I was playing the Nomad the first time, that's for sure. And I think it's just ranged characters are my jam. So let's have a look what we have. We basically have an arrow that fires in a straight line, dealing a lot of damage. We also have basically a heat-seeking arrow that can pierce up to 4 times. Then, where it gets really cool is we basically have 2 sort of dodge abilities. So it basically gives you iframes or invincibility frames, if you know the term, where basically you can't be hit while you are using the spell. So one is basically a leap backwards where you fire 3 arrows, like that. And the other one is like basically a bigger version of the same thing, where you jump high into the air and shoot 5 arrows that pass through enemies. And one of the things I've in general thought is this feels like the sort of character that would be good to get crit with. In the run I did off camera, I think I got to the 5th world, so definitely not too bad. I mean, to be fair, I had some very good weapons as well, or very good items. But I did have a bit of a crit build. I had the blue item that we unlocked for getting to the last boss, the one that was like a monocle that meant you did like extra crit and extra damage to enemies that are on full health, which I'm still not sure exactly how good a spell I think it is, but not spell, item, but it seemed to do a good job for me there. So maybe we'll try and do a crit build again, because I see there is one crit item to our right, but we shall see. Getting some iron armor to start, so we're getting some resistances. I always assume ranged characters like this are going to be more glass cannony than anything else, but I could be wrong. I haven't really played too much of this character yet, as I said, so don't really know. It'll be interesting to find out. And that is not a great start for our run to get a blue straight off the bat. And Molten is one which basically causes fire to, well, basically for us to get hit and be set on fire if we're not careful when getting attacked by enemies. So anyway, it is a Monday today when I'm recording this, so a new day, a new week and a new day of that week, to be sure. So I was back at work today, which wasn't particularly fun, much preferred playing games at the weekend. And I must say, I did my first inaugural stream of AussieJTV on Sunday. It was good to see some familiar faces. Smile13 Relax, I saw you on there for sure. So that was very nice, as well as some new faces as well. So if you came from Twitch or even from YouTube Live and you found the channel and want to look at some more of the content, this is the sort of content we do. Playing great sort of indie gems, roguelikes especially, that have come out fairly recently. I mean, we will do a mix. It's not always going to be that sort of content, but I was very fortunate that around the time I started my YouTube channel, both this game came out, Ancient Legacy of Azul that is, and Castle Morahisa, so 2 very good roguelike games. And also special mention to Ampguard, which I thought was a very good roguelike. It just felt that there wasn't quite enough content. I guess that's the main thing I'd say. I'd love to see a further release on Ampguard, just to basically give it a bit more meat on the bones, because with only sort of 1 boss and a circuitous 3-stage route, it just felt like you'd seen the game, or all of the game, fairly quickly. But yeah, so new week, new me, basically. I'm going to see if I can try and keep up at least 2 videos every day. That's my aim. So at the moment, it's looking like an Ancient Legacy of Azul video and a Castle Morahisa video daily. And then alongside that, I will try and do What If. I'm not guaranteeing What If will be every day. So for example, today's a Monday and I haven't released one today, mainly because I just couldn't find a good game to play. I don't want to like force myself to play a game that's potentially not very enjoyable to watch. I'm not having the most fun. It just seems to spoil the mood, basically. So if I see something good, I'll play it. I imagine it will still be fairly frequently, like most days of the week. Just depends what's around, because also I don't want to be spending money on games every day. That's why I've been mainly trying to try good indie free games. I mean, Castle Morahisa and Ancient Legacy of Azul both weren't free, and surprise, surprise, they're the ones that I've been playing the most. And also, I think the plan will be going forwards is that we will stream every Thursday. There might be some bonus streams at the weekend, depending on how I feel. I just can't commit to doing a stream every weekend because I might be busy. I have a life outside of YouTube, as you all are no doubt aware of. So every Thursday I think we'll try and do a stream after work. So from my perspective, that will probably be around 8 p.m. GMT, I imagine we'd start. Depending on where you are, that will probably be a bit later. If you're in Europe, probably 9 p.m. And we'll see how that goes. Unfortunately, I finish work probably around any time sort of between 6 and 6:30, and then I've got to eat, etc. before we play. Anyway, that's enough about the channel. Maybe we should focus a bit more about this run. So, to be honest, I don't think this run is going particularly well at the moment. We don't have very many good items. We have a lot of passives, like common passives, but the fact that they... Oh dear, I need to be careful. I need to heal up a little bit here. But yeah, basically, they started off with Molten, so they started off with a blue. We started off with a bunch of commons, and that was very silly damage to take. So... And I'm dead. Okay, never mind. Well, let's just say that was the channel introductory video. This is almost a channel update, was the first run, but we'll definitely play as the marksman again. I promise I am better than that with this character, or at least I was the first time I played as them. I'm very interested who you think is the person behind the hood. I know it's meant to be mysterious, but I always wonder, you know, what is the life that they lead when they're not sort of trying to slay beasties every single day as part of sort of an endless spiral of climbing through different stages. And this is the item that I talked about right at the start of the video that I said I unlocked fairly recently and had a reasonable run with the marksman earlier with just this item. So basically we have increased crit and increased damage to enemies at full health. So it basically means if we can build this up with some other good items, we can almost become almost a one-shot machine, or try and become a one-shot machine at least, which would be really good. So I'm really looking out for crit, attack, well, attack speed not so much, but any crit damage, anything like that would be really good on this character, because I just think it fits the marksman theme. I know there's some like very archetypal, is it archetypal? Archetypal? I don't even know how you say that word, but things that a ranger does, like often you think of a ranger as a crit machine. It will take the whetstone for increased crit chance here. Keeps at range, but is normally quite squishy. So that's how I feel like this character is meant to be played as well, and it's how I'm planning to play them, at least so far, based on the minor pickups we have received. But yeah, this seems to be going much better than the previous one was, that is for sure. Now, I see those coconuts, and you might be thinking, based on what we talked about in the episode yesterday, oh, maybe you'll try and get a load of coconuts just to get that donut unlock. And rest assured, I am very intrigued as to what that donut unlock is, but that's more something to do if we find a trade outpost, if we think the run's not going particularly well and we just want to get an upgrade or something. We'll see. As long as there's a chance for a victory, I'm definitely not going to try and take that away by switching out what are some really good items, I think, with what effectively is movement speed, which isn't going to do us much good if we don't have some damage to back it up. Now, unfortunately, this stage is going to be quite a long trek back, I see, just because we didn't get quite to the far end of the right-hand side of the screen, and now we're going to have to travel all the way back over just to see if there's any last chests. It'd be interesting. I don't know if this is actually worth doing, but it's what I'm going to do, because I always think chests are free items. You never know. That chest could be your Azul item. It could be your yellow, like rare, legendary item. I don't know. One day I'll work out what to call the different colors, but yellow is probably the easiest thing to remember. Another thing I would say is, if you have been following all this content, I assume you picked up this game yourself, and you're probably like, oh, this is really good content. I just wish Aussie J was better at winning the game, which rest assured we will do soon enough. I just realised we walked all this way for nothing. But I'll be remiss in saying that they actually have a... Oh, the screen has just hung for a second there. Sorry, apologies about that. Must be my computer. But yes, the game has a Discord channel at the moment, and the developers are very active in it. So, and you might see myself in it as well. But it'd be interesting if you go inside it. You know, if you have insights into what you think would be better in the game, or any balance tweaks, but also just generally to give your thanks to the developers, because they've done a great job with this game so far, and the fact that they're constantly working on it after the fact is even better. So yeah. And that's basically it. So maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the game now, see what we find as we come out. But I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about in my life, to be perfectly honest. I've been watching more of Critical Role. I think I mentioned that on a previous video that I've been watching a bit of that. It's really got better, I would say. I found that the first two episodes, I think I said, were a bit slow. Or maybe not slow is the right word. It just felt a bit forced, is how I'd put it. But I've now watched through to episode 5, and I must say 3, 4, and 5 were all a lot better, in my opinion. So I suggest you pick it up. And they have a very good cast of voice actors. So, I mean, for those of you who don't know, Critical Role is a Twitch stream / podcast where basically a bunch of voice actors are playing Dungeons and Dragons. So obviously they must know a lot of voice acting people because they're in the industry, but they kickstarted a campaign to create an animated TV show, and it got a ton of money. So they've done a 12-part series on Amazon Prime. I think they've already got it confirmed for a second release, as in the second season. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, the cast they've got is amazing, probably because they know all the people. But I think there's David Tennant's in it. This is where I'm going to blank on a load of people. Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, who's the actress, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, and plenty of others, which one thing you will learn about me if I continue this channel for as long as I hope to do so, and maybe talk about pop culture every now and then, is actually I am absolutely awful at pop culture. So actors' names, actresses' names, films, TV shows, anything like that, I am useless at. Music, just the same. So normally it will be, oh, show me that picture. Oh, I recognize that face. This one, it will probably blow your mind, but actually I claim to fame, or well, claim to infamy is probably a better statement, is for the longest time when I was a child, probably until I was about, I don't know, must have been 18, something like that, I'm not entirely sure. I actually thought Beyonce and Madonna were the same person. Now, I know what you're saying immediately. How the hell, Oscar, Aussie J, could you make that mistake? I mean, one's white, one's black, let's get that started. But also just, they're completely different people, apparently completely different songs. Well, I think the first part is I'd never taken enough interest in them or their music to sort of know the difference between whose song was whose in the first place. So I don't know where I'd got my mind. I guess they're both very famous, very successful people who are very great at what they do. And I think I just equated, if I saw Beyonce on the screen and someone told me, oh, that's Beyonce, I would go, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But if I saw Beyonce on the screen and someone else said that was Madonna, I would also go, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So very strange. I don't know exactly why I got that way. But yeah, I have indeed been known to mix up almost everyone. And we're just going to get rid of that potent ability because I'm a bit scared of it. I mean, it was 50-50, but I don't like the freeze one either. And also get this brass crown. So basically, we have a chance to reset all our skill cooldowns, because I think this character would do with just basically spamming out their skills as much as humanly possible. So that's basically what I'm going to try and do, get some cooldown reduction as well as everything else that we're trying to do on this run. I don't feel particularly overpowered, let's say, for sure, but I don't feel underpowered either, though I am just thinking, I feel like I am quite squishy. So we'll see. That was a very nice level up there, because I was getting a bit worried. I'm not sure we're actually going to get this upgrade, unless we are quite lucky. It's probably mainly because I'm spending so much time trying to dodge. Oh, one's left. Oh, we did it just in the nick of time. That was very close indeed. But I think we have it, and hopefully that is not a sign of things to come, because I found that quite tough, and we can finish off the rest of this floor without incident. I would be interested in finding another Red Lady statue. If you remember, we found them in one of our first episodes, I think. They are quite rare, but basically you get half health, and half health for the floor, I should say. And if you win it, you basically go back to full health and get a load of bonuses as well, instead of a shop. And I think I didn't really understand it when we first saw it, didn't really explore what that really meant, so I'd love to get the chance to see that again. And we haven't really got that much to improve ourselves, and we have got the hated vampiric mutation. But I think, as I said yesterday, there has been a patch. So hopefully they did nerf. Well, I know they've nerfed vampiric. I don't have to worry about that. But hopefully it makes it a bit more manageable, and I don't just die immediately as soon as the enemies pick it up. Yeah, so I don't know what your opinions have been. Have you been interested in the marksman? Is that one of your favourite characters? I think I asked before, does anyone have a particular favourite? I know Smile in the comment section mentioned that their favourite was the Wayfarer. And Wayfarer is a bit of a love-hate relationship for me, I'm not going to lie. I think that's going to be the case with all the melee heroes, though I've not tried the Marauder yet. I think I just prefer keeping the enemies far away from me, I don't want them in my face. I don't want them dealing damage to me, causing problems. I would just rather that they stay away from me and I can kill them from afar. Also think I just tend to last longer on range heroes as well. One thing I found very cool about the, I was about to think who we are for a second, the marksman, is also the fact that you can spam both your jump abilities like this to get even more height. Oh, and ask and ye shall receive. There is a red lady here. And I think, we're going to try it. I think at the moment we're sort of in that place where we're not doing super well. We're not doing super badly. So either this is a recipe for immediate disaster, or we get to kill the boss fairly quickly and we're set up in a really good position for later. Or at least that's my hope. I wish the boss had spawned on the other side, I'll be absolutely honest with you, because I was going to hope to move to the left to kill them. And we've taken quite a bit of damage already. I need to remember that we get invincibility from our final 2 moves, because that can really help us reduce damage. So like that, I managed to dodge one spell with it, but then I got hit by the other. So it wasn't necessarily the best move. And here he's going to launch his beams, and I'm going to use that and continue to dodge. And there we go, we're at full health. Okay, and that works well. I need to remember that I do get my cooldowns refreshed. I keep not casting spells because I just assume they're on cooldown. But if I pay attention more, I can see that they're coming off cooldown a lot more frequently. And that's probably the benefit. In fact, this is going rather well, if I don't say so myself. So let's just keep it up. I think what helps is we've got good attack speed. So, in fact, I shouldn't say that with 100% authority. I mean, we do have good attack speed, but I need to double check exactly how that crown works. Does it have a chance on hit to reduce the cooldowns, or is it a chance on casting a spell? I think the boss is going to go down here, or just about. Oh, that took a few more arrows than I thought. So what is this? Chance on a skill cooldown starting. Okay, so it's actually as you cast a spell, you might get another cast. I just realized I just took the shuriken there, but maybe there's something to be said about taking knockback. I'm pretty sure that hammer is a knockback. And here you go, the red portal to indicate the red lady. And that's where we get 2 Azul stones, though we already have 1. And we get the reward from her. And I think this is always guaranteed a yellow. Correct me if I'm wrong. It might be that you can also get an Azul item here. And we have got the crackling lodestone. So this is perfect, especially because it's chance on hit. So basically every time we hit, there's a 10% chance for lightning to strike an enemy. And what I really like about this is it's really good for basically single target damage. So it's a boss shredder, basically, is the way I see it. It's interesting that we've got 4 of these increased resistance anymore. I don't know if there's something that you can get from. Oh, that's very nice. One of the upgrades, one of the unlocks. I don't know if that's potentially based on having a lot of resistances, but I must say it's very nice to have this vampiric, so increased bloodletter, especially with our attack speed. It means we should hopefully have a bit more sustain now as we're fighting, which I think was one of the things that I felt we were lacking slightly in this run. Like, I feel like we do a reasonable amount of damage. We just don't heal up very fast, so we have to kite a lot more than we would want. Let's keep moving. I am tempted to use this as a trade station, but if I'm not guaranteed to know that I'm going to get an upgrade from it, I don't see any point. I'm a bit concerned that we're moving very far to our left and we haven't reached the end, so I'm wondering if we're going to be doing a long trek back at the same time. But who knows? Nope, actually, we are going to be doing a long trek back, but at least it's for a reason, because the boss wasn't on this side. So let's just keep going. Probably should try and kill some of these as we go. But yeah. I wonder if anyone who's played the patch quite a lot so far, have they found a new mutation that's the bane of their existence that they absolutely hate with a passion or anything like that? Or does it just generally feel fairer? I think it's always a good thing to get community feedback on these sorts of things. Obviously, don't necessarily trust everyone because everyone's going to have a different opinion, and also depending on the runs that they've done. But it'd be good to know if anyone's finding anything particularly challenging. So far, I haven't seen anything. I mean, obviously, whenever I see like a yellow mutation, I'm like, oh crap, we've got a problem here. But I think that's the point. They're meant to be less likely to appear, but when they do, that you're going to have a problem. And I probably should do a bit more research. I know I've mentioned it before, but I don't know if you're guaranteed, if this bar fills all the way to the top, that you're going to get a yellow mutation, or at least a blue mutation. I'm not 100% sure. One thing, just for reference, if you are playing this character, the shift button actually pushes you to the direction that you're facing. So I sometimes thought it would be the opposite, that it would, you'd be jumping away from the direction you're going. And it's just basically because of, depends on your movement. So if you're moving, it pushes you in the direction that you are moving in. If you're standing still, it pushes you backwards. So it's a bit different depending on where your forward momentum is. And let's just kill these last enemies here. Oh, no, I took a lot of damage there, actually. Let's get some lifesteal back up. Drop back down. I don't like these Cyclopses, it's got to be said. And I think we'll just get ready for the boss. I'm hoping the boss is going to spawn up here. Just going to be a faff to fight it. I had a problem earlier today where I had to fight said boss so I was up here and the boss was down there, and I just had to wait for it to hit one of these yellow steam vents. Just realised that those steam vents are most definitely not yellow, but sort of those grey steam vents just to jump up in the air. It meant I spent a lot of time not actually getting a kill. I need to get a bit closer. He's taken a lot of damage, which is nice. I'm betting that's mainly due to the lightning strikes. But let's see if we can do a bit more. I must say, I do not like freezing. That's fast becoming one of my least favourite attacks, because it just means that trying to use that to dodge those what do you even call them, these they almost feel like mechs. They're obviously not mechs, but we're taking quite a lot of damage. I should probably focus a bit more. No. Oh, that was unfortunate. I think there I just got myself screwed because we'd killed the boss. We basically had it had it sorted, I think. So we're 20 minutes in. I think we'll do one more run with the marksman and leave the marauder for the next session, rather than split it across with 2 different characters. And let's remember that we've got a forge here from the start if we need it. I doubt we're going to pick up an Azul item right at the start. I think one thing you'll also have noticed, I was actually much better at double jumping just then, so I've got used to it. I think it's with the marksman, because their spells let you jump anyway. You sort of get used to jumping more frequently. I don't know if that's really a fair assessment, but that's how I've been finding it anyway. And we've got a very similar, well, maybe not a similar build, but we've got a crit build that's sort of building here. I like these starting items, so increased crit chance, 10% chance to deal additional damage, and increased crit chance and additional damage on enemies with full health. This is looking like a very offensive run with the first couple of items, which I'm definitely not against, as I try and finish off this dude. And there we go. So, oh, the boss altar's very close. Well, we'll just go past it for now, and hopefully our luck will remain true by praying to this altar. It will most definitely. This is probably, no, maybe not my favorite yellow item, but maybe it is my favorite yellow item. I mean, the lightning I think is stronger overall, but I do just like seeing these blue pillars, and especially when you can stack them on top of each other and you just see all of the enemies melt in a big pile at the same time. Yeah, that's what I find particularly good. Oh, I've not had this item before with the marksman, so being able to shoot more than one of our heat-seeking missiles is probably a good thing. Let's jump over all of these enemies. I'm actually going to leave that on the floor just because I can't be bothered to travel back quite at this moment. I'm thinking we might pick up that blue item as well, just to have some healing. Let's just see whether there's anything else at the end. No, there is not. Though the question is, we normally get quite a lot. I probably should work out how much of the currency you get for beating a boss. I mean, obviously, probably each boss is different. I don't know if it is just a flat 100 or whether it's more, but we're just a bit off from being able to buy 1 Azul stone at the end of, well, in the first shop, because that's 135. But I'm sure we're going to kill enough regular enemies as we're fighting the boss that that's not a problem. So I'm just going to go activate the boss altar in a second. Does anyone know what these are called? These sort of like, well, I'm going to consider them rune stones, but I assume they're based on sort of the Nordic. Maybe they are called rune stones or way stones of some sort. I've always think they look really cool. We get, maybe we don't, I wouldn't say we really get them in the UK, but you sometimes have like standing stones in certain areas to indicate, I don't know, sometimes if you're at the peak of a mountain or something like that. But I'd be interested to know what they actually are called. And we took quite a lot of damage there. I wouldn't do that again. I think we should only go through the boss if we know we've got one of our invulnerability spells like that. I was going to try and show off how I dodged very quickly like that. That time I managed to get the dodge. Or at least I think I did. Like this. There you go. No damage taken. And let's just create a little more of a gap between ourselves. I do wonder what would be the best Azul item on this character. I think I need to do a better job of trying the other ones, because I feel like I always go melee character, let's get the spear, which I believe is, well, it looks like a spear, but it's the one that gives you a crit lamp is what I'm going to say. So if enemies are close to you, you can start critting them. Or you have the cooldown reduction one, which is the crown that we just used there. And then the final, what's the other one that I normally get? Oh, of course, the health. I call it the Titanic one, but the Titanic's the mutation with the same picture or a similar picture. Basically, more health regen. Basically, noob's first Azul item. Those are the main ones I go for. So it'd be interesting to try the one that gives increased like bleed effects and things like that, because I think that'd be quite interesting. Though maybe not with this build, because it's very much about just dealing raw damage. Just seeing if there's anything we want here. I'm probably just going to take the Azul stone. We don't quite have enough. I was going to try and buy this as well, just to have increased AoE, DPS, attacks per second. And then that's probably it. So we're just saving up Azul stones, and maybe we'll go for a big buy on Azul items in the next shop. Or that we might find one as we're in this area. Let's keep moving on. I wonder, what would be your opinion on best new stage? If they were going to create a new stage, like a different sort of style, what would you go for? Like, my mind always went straight to hell, or maybe just a lava-based level at the same time. It'd be interesting if they introduced, not drops, but sort of hazards on the floor. Oh, I've never seen this, but Azul born, children of Azul come. What do we think that means? Is that going to be like some special new enemy type, maybe? Oh, it did just take a lot of damage there. I don't know if it buffs other enemies. In fact, this guy has got a blue aura around him, so maybe it's a chance that, or maybe it's every enemy. I hope it's not every enemy. Maybe it's just a general buff to all enemies. I don't know. We'll soon find out. We still seem to be killing them fairly fast, so maybe it's just increased damage to us. Or maybe I'm getting completely confused, and they're always showing those blue trails behind them, and I just didn't notice. One thing that I got told in the comment section is that if you're wondering what the some of the elites have, where they have a blue circle around them. I will point it out if we see any on this run. That is actually like a command aura, so it basically buffs all the enemies around them. I don't know if it works on other ones with the same aura, because sometimes you get a pack of like 4 of them at once, so I don't know if they're all buffing themselves or not. But that is what that one does. Well, I was going to say, I thought, you know, we were doing a good job. We didn't have any mutations yet, and then we go and get this one, which, to be fair, I'm not finding too difficult at the moment, but I'm just very concerned that it's yellow, to be absolutely honest with you. And let's see if we can get a good item further on down here. Well, another jump. I mean, I'm coming around to the jump, it has to be said. Maybe it's just with the marksman, just because you have so much freedom of movement. But I find it, you can get a lot more height, and it's just more, maybe it's more fun than anything else, being able to run around like a crazy person. I think that's just in my DNA, basically, so no harm done there. In fact, I've got a good example of that. Switching into anecdote mode for a second, but yeah, when I was a child, I was an absolute menace to society. I was like absolute bundle of energy. I know every kid's like that, but I was especially so much so that I used to have to wear a well, it's not a leash. I didn't want to call it a leash because that probably makes it sound even worse. But it's like one of those harnesses that kids have to wear so they don't go running off. Mainly because I had just weird fascinations as a child. It sort of depended on my mood and how old I was. But definitely at one point, I thought hinges were like humankind's greatest creation. So I used to run up, and I was probably only a toddler. I don't know how old you have to be to like be running around. Probably like three or four I probably was. And I'd run up and down streets effectively trying to open and close everyone's gates. Not for really any reason, but the fact that I was just obsessed with hinges and how they operated. Maybe it was a sign that I was going to become an engineer in a future life. Not that I ever ended up becoming an engineer, but yeah, I was just fascinated with how they worked. You know, how you could get things to both open and close. I know it's crazy. You know, these sort of things you take for granted. I wonder how long it took before we actually invented the hinge. Like, when did the hinge actually get invented? I'd assume fairly early on. But you know, you always hear about the wheel. You hear about those big name inventions. You know, roads, aqueducts, wheels, all that sort of stuff. No one ever talks about the humble hinge. But we wouldn't be able to open and close doors without them. You know, where would be our privacy? Unless, you know, you built just a cube around yourself. That I guess would be some privacy, but you wouldn't be able to get in and out. I guess you could make a hole. You don't need to, well, I guess, sorry, you could get in and out, but then you wouldn't have a door. So, you know, anyone could come in when they wanted to. This run is not going particularly well. I feel like everyone's very tanky. It must be something to do with this Azul mutation, which I just don't know what it actually means. I wish we had some... Oh, this is not looking good. I'm going to try and go through the crowd. Oh, come on. We can do it. Oh, that was good. We actually gained health doing that. I'm not sure how. Let's not throw it all away again. And we did just level up, so that's helped us there. I just feel like we're getting very lucky with the level ups on this run so far. And we have not done a lot of damage to the boss, it must be said. I thought I was doing at least a reasonable amount of chip damage to them as I was killing all the other enemies. It just doesn't feel like we're doing too much. That's one of the negatives with the marksman, is you don't have much. All of your attacks are sort of on a level. I mean, I guess that's the same with the Azul marksman now I think about it, but I'm just noticing it more with this character. Maybe it's because the arrow's like smaller in AoE. So because it's only a small size, you have to be quite precise with your aiming of it. But yeah. But no, if there's any other weird inventions, I'm trying to think now of like other and lesser known inventions that people don't talk about enough. But the hinge is definitely up there for me, or at least one that I very much enjoyed as a child. Just jumped in the wrong direction there. Oh, we can't be losing on the... Have we even got to the ice world? No, we have, but we haven't got any further. Can't do 2 episodes in a row where the furthest we get is the ice world. But maybe that's what's going to happen. What I'll definitely have to do is to do some practice before we jump into the Marauder, maybe, so that I can show it off a bit better. Now, how are we going to get through these guys again? Oh, that's how you die. I didn't think that we had a what's this? Like an archway on top of us. Well, unfortunately, hopefully that was an interesting video. I showed off the marksman. Didn't do as well as I did when I was playing off camera, but that probably goes with the territory. And next time we will try the Marauder. So a melee character this time. I think what I'm really interested in is this battle cry. So it sounds like the more surrounded you are by enemies, the more damage, attack speed, armor, and resistance you will get. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like, give a comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow with some more Ancient Legacy of Azul action.